You did?
Hey, yeah, I was going back and forth Wednesday to Thursday.
Wednesday to Thursday, I'm sorry. Hey, we're going live, everybody.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. Wednesday to Thursday. Yeah.
We're
You
gonna-
thought it was Thursday?
I couldn't think if it was Wednesday or Thursday. But
Why did you think it was Thursday? Just the
because
day
it's
of
been
the
a
week.
long week.
It has? I feel like it should be Tuesday.
I feel like we've done a lot, but not a whole bunch. If you're just tuning in now, we're
I
discussing
feel-
what day that today feels like. I'm saying Thursday, and Sarah, my sweetie wife, is saying Tuesday.
I'm saying Tuesday. Yes. You, your head's cut off.
That's okay.
Is that better?
That is good.
That's good.
That is good.
All
And
right. Oh.
If you're joining us, which you're not, because there's no viewers just yet, we have what?
Oh.
We started early.
Well, so we have just an hour and a half to record, less than that, because we gotta go today.
Well, I think we can do that in an hour and a half.
So yeah, so we should actually start.
We should end by 3:30.
Yes,
If
that's what I
anything,
was
we have the shout outs, which we can do later on.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But we love you, Skywalkers. We always shout you out.
And if we join on there, who are we talking to?
I don't know.
Who are they performing for?
That was so funny. Hocus pocus. Okay. Well, right now, no one, because we didn't give anyone any notice today. And that's our fault, but we didn't know when we were going to finish the notes.
Yeah, welcome to the end of the year.
Yes.
From now until the end of the year.
Yeah, December craziness.
We're
Okay.
going to just drop stuff. We're going to drop our recordings. Going to drop our releases. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes. All right, I'm going to hit record. So let's get this thing. Let's get this thing going. You ready?
I'm ready. Oh,
Ready?
okay. We have one person
That's
watching.
right. You know what?
All
Because
we need.
I said 2:15. We were a little early.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Well, if you're just tuning in now, you just missed a whole lot of pointless banter.
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay. This is what you can look forward to on episode 398 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Hey, Skywalkers! Well, we waited 34 years to see the further adventures of Willow Offgood, and now that day is upon us. With that, we want to welcome all you Nelwyns, Daikinis, Brownies, and you to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my Nelwyn sweetie wife Sarah. Because you're tiny.
Oh.
You're a Nelwyn.
I thought
I'm a
I was
Daikini. You're a Nelwyn.
I thought I was a Daikini.
No.
No, I'm too small?
You're too small to be a Daikini. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're a Nelwyn.
Okay, well, good.
You're not a brownie.
No,
Brownies are minuscule.
I'm not a brownie.
No.
No. Well, welcome everyone. We are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom and Lucasfilm fandom. So imagine a big Wookiee hug and a sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers.
Now, coming up in this packed episode, we're going to share our thoughts on the new Willow Disney Plus series. Oh, so excited about this. And we're going to give a primer with everything you need to know from the original film going into this new series. We love doing our primers because these are the shows that we would want to hear ourselves while going into something new where you had to have a little bit of a background on something where it fills in all the blanks.
Right.
Also, check out a new article we have on skywalkingthroughneverland.com on a cast breakdown and lots of fun facts.
Yes, that's up right now if you want to go read that. Now, we will also share some insight into the conceptualization of this series from the press conference, the Willow press conference that we attended. It was one of those nice, what are they called now? Virtual press conferences that you can attend from anywhere in the world.
Don't need to leave the house anymore.
Do you know where we attended that press conference from?
Disney World.
Disney World.
I think we were waiting in line.
We were waiting in line to see Sorcerer Mickey.
That's right.
So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Hi, Stacy. Hi, Meredith. thanks for alerting me about the echo, and I got rid of it.
Oh, Racy Stacy is here with us.
Yeah.
And Meredith.
Well, she's headed out, but thank you for commenting, Meredith. Yay.
Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on November the 30th, 2022.
All right, so what happened today in Star Wars history, Richard?
Hold on, let me get my book. There you go. I'm going to flip through these pages right over here. All right. On this date in 1969, this is when we welcomed little Chris Weitz into the world. Happy birthday, 53rd birthday to Chris Weitz, and he was the co-writer on Rogue One and American Pie.
Ooh.
So I'm sure you can see the similarities there.
Yeah.
Also on this date in 1985, ABC airs the episodes Asha and the Frozen Citadel from Ewoks and Droids Adventure Hour. And this is the 13th episode of each and the series finale for Droids.
Ooh.
It's not a good day.
Oh.
Oh, speaking of not a good day, in 2017, Alfie Curtis passes away. Now, Alfie Curtis, he played Dr. Evazan in the Mos Eisley Cantina in Star Wars. He's the, he doesn't like you. He's that guy with a smushed up face. Yes, he passed away, and Mark Hamill had tweeted, Alfie Curtis made the Star Wars Mos Eisley Cantina scene one of the most memorable I've ever been a part of, even more memorable. As horrific as he was on camera, off camera, he was funny, kind, and a real gentleman. Thanks, Alf. You'll be missed. Rest in peace, Mark Hamill.
Oh.
So those are some tidbits of what happened today in Star Wars history. All right, now before we visit Willow and friends, we have things we want to share.
Hey, hey! It's Corwin of Amber, Don, and Teresa. Yay! Thank you guys for watching. All right, things we want to share.
Thanks to all the Skywalkers who came by last weekend at LostCon. And we sold numerous sets of books, not just to some Skywalkers, but to random convention goers.
New people
Came by and it's like, hey, what's going on here? Give them our pitch, and they bought the book, so thank you. And as we heard from other dealers in the area, we've been hearing your pitch all day long. Now we want the book.
Yeah, a couple dealers definitely bought the set as well, so that was really fun. It always floors me when, like, passersby come by and just by your pitch, they're like, all right,
Okay.
I'll take a set.
Do you know what
I'll
always...
take a set of hardcovers.
Yeah, hardcovers, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what always gets them?
What?
Telling them that this has been fact-checked and then fact-checked again and even fact-checked even after that with people like Anthony Daniels and Billy D. Williams and Charles Lippincott, Craig Miller. So many people had helped to fact-check this. And that's what I feel like it has been the best sales pitch.
Yeah, I think so too.
And not just a reference book of material we got off of different websites.
Right.
So thank you to one and to all who came by. And also, we had a really fun panel, didn't we?
Yes, we did. The classic days of ridiculous Star Wars rumors.
And Craig Miller, who was on the panel, he was one that laid the groundwork for all these rumors and spread them around. And this is where George Lucas had said, yeah, spread even more rumors and more rumors. So if you weren't able to attend the panel, well, I'm sorry because we had a great time, but the audio will be available for the Skywalking Force at the beginning of next week.
Yes, and this will be a bonus episode for the Skywalking Force only. So, we just want to provide bonus content for you guys, and thank you for supporting us.
Mm-hmm. So next now we're bitten by the convention bug.
Yes.
Not the convention, what do you call it when you get sick at a convention?
Oh.
I want to say blurg. That's not the right word. Crud.
Con crud.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the convention bug, which is different from the con crud. This means we want to do even more conventions.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
Corbin of Amber just jumped in con crud.
Yes, we're making a concerted effort next year to do more conventions. And so our next one, we're hoping Empire Con will come back. It's not been announced yet. I did go to their website and see, but they're possibly thinking of February for doing EmpireCon here in the Los Angeles area.
And they had last had a convention, the first convention in 2019, and this was a really big event that really narrowed and focused in on the original trilogy fans. And because they had a lot of guests from the original trilogy, and this would be a great fit for us. So I'm really hoping they're going to do it in February.
Also, we will definitely be at WonderCon March 24th through 26th at the Anaheim Convention Center. So we will be there. We don't know if we'll have a booth yet, but we'll definitely be there as press. So, yeah.
And maybe doing some panels.
Yeah, that's our hope as well. So we'll let you know when we get into that.
After Celebration, we caught the panel bug. All right, now as a reminder, our 400th episode of Skywalking Through Neverland is coming up very quickly. So lots of you have said very nice things in our post found in our Skywalking page and group, and you still have time to leave us a nice message or a harshly criticized message. Either one is fine. But if you also want to send in a voice recording, they can do that too.
Yes, so you can record a voice memo on your phone, just saying how much you love skywalking or whatever you'd like for 400 episodes, 9 years, amazing. And you can then email that in to share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Our Teresa Delgado is saying in the Sky Chat she has stopped going to those websites.
Conventions.
Oh, conventions.
Yes.
All right. Oh, she's doing the opposite of us.
Yes. So we're going to more conventions. She's stopped. Yes. No con crud for you. But Don Glover has put on conventions and has had a lot of con crud. All right. Today in Star Wars history, as we just mentioned, we sold it at LostCon, and autographed copies of Part 1 and Part 2 are now available everywhere. Well, they're available at skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. So those are the autographed copies. It makes a great Christmas gift, as we heard at the convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, people bought those. It is $25 for each paperback and $50 for each hardcover. Right now, we have a sale going on. If you buy 2 books, they can be Part 1 and Part 2. They can be 2 of one, 2 of the other, whatever it is. As long as you buy 2 of something from our website and put in the code LifeDayFreeShip, then you will get free shipping on those books.
Oh, that's too much of a good deal.
I know. And then also on Amazon.com, you can get the books. However, they're the same price. However, they won't be signed by us because we're not in charge of that, obviously.
No, that's not where we're based.
Yes, we're not based on Amazon or at Amazon.
Amazontopia.
Yeah.
All right, now it's been 34 years since Willow premiered in 1988, and there's a lot of stuff that's good to know before watching that brand new Disney Plus series. So let's roll into our Willow primer.
What should I say? Okay.
Eh.
And just so you guys know, we will warn you once we're going into spoilers.
So that won't be for this primer. It'll be more for the reviews.
Yes.
So you're safe for another 28 and a half minutes.
Yes.
All right, now I think Willow should definitely be up there with George Lucas's greatest accomplishments with Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Willow is just that good. And after rewatching it, I say this 1988 film still holds up. Sarah?
Let's see. The film? Yeah, we just watched it. Sorry, people are commenting. Thank you guys for commenting. Yeah, so I say we just watched it, and I have to say that I enjoyed it more than any other time I've watched it before. I think the comedy of the film really comes through for me. Like, there's some moments and just some side glances and just little things that really stand out in terms of the comedy that really make the film delightful.
When I first saw this in 1988, I won tickets on a radio contest.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so thrilled because I got to see it like a week before it came out. And it's like, wow, Warwick Davis, he's out of a Ewok mask. how's he gonna do here in his first big role? And he smashed it. He smashed that acting role that Ron Howard had worked through him. He had done so well with this role, directed by Ron Howard, and his little subtleties came through so well.
Yeah, that's right. So this would be his first role after being an Ewok in a costume?
And he had some other little creature roles.
Okay.
But in terms of being the lead in a film, this is his first time. And I think that because he didn't have so many, maybe the background of all of his acting classes, that he was able to be more realistic. That's why a lot of the Italian film directors never wanted actors for their roles. They just wanted real people. And that really came through with Warwick Davis, because he did such a great job with just a little eyebrow twitch. Oh, perfect. Now, Sarah, when did you first see Willow? Why don't I know this?
You know what? I honestly don't know. I would assume it would have been after I got into Star Wars and Indiana Jones and like the whole Lucasfilm thing, right? So I'm assuming I was early teens or maybe 11, 12, something like that, like a tween. But I remember liking it, but feeling like it was kind of a knockoff Star Wars a little bit.
Well, it very much was.
Yeah.
But in lieu of Star Wars, we have Willow.
Yeah. So I think I was a teenager because I really thought Val Kilmer was hot. And,
okay.
You know, he goes topless a lot in this series, so it makes sense.
Well, do you see his little tiny waistline?
Oh yeah. he's that rogue character, right? The lovable rogue. So I always go for that.
There were rumors coming out right before Willow was released that if this does well, then they're gonna consider this the next Star Wars.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, we should do a whole panel on Willow rumors.
Stacy agrees with me. Val was hot. I mean, speaking of, Zorsha was beautiful.
Yes. Oh, Zorsha! I had a big crush on Zorsha.
I bet. that hair.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
Not too long ago, I was doing a job, and this little girl comes over to me, and she says her name is Zorsha. It's like, are your parents Willow fans? And she says, yeah. So matter-of-factly. So I went over to her parents and thanked them for naming her little girl Zorsha. And her parents said, I'm the first one who's ever picked up on that.
Oh my gosh. That's so cute.
All right, now, before we go on, let's note that in 1995, there was a trilogy of non-Willow canon books. All right? Now, these were called Shadow Moon, and they were written by George Lucas and Chris Claremont. And this takes place a year after the events of the film, where Willow reunites with Mad Mardigan and Zorsha, and they rename him Thorn Drumheller.
All right.
So the next time you see Warwick Davis at a convention or anywhere, you're going to call him Thorn Drumheller.
Oh my gosh.
So once again, these are non-Willow canon books.
Right.
But they're often forgotten about when talking about Willow.
I never knew they existed, so yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, there you go.
But that has no bearing on the series.
No.
John Kasdan just took the original film and went from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are books I got to look for on audible.com.
Oh.
I want to catch up with this.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, now let's go over what you need to know about the series before diving in. And we're going to share our experiences from the Willow World premiere we went to just last night. And this was held in Westwood, California, where they showed the first 2 episodes. And we're going to show everyone in the Sky Chat our Willow press badges.
Woo!
Oh, gorgeous those are. Oh, mine's backwards. There you go. Look at those.
Yeah, those are fun, huh? Willow premiere. Yes. Yeah, we'll share that experience a little later. Now, okay, the one question being asked by most people is, do I need to have seen the film or know the intricate details before watching this series?
I would say no, but it would help.
Yes. And I would actually say that because you have seen the film a lot, so you had it kind of etched in your brain. I've only seen the film maybe 3 times, and the last time was at least 15 years ago or something.
Yeah, just like with Game of Thrones, they keep throwing out all these realms and kingdoms, and Of course, you can go, okay, it's another realm or kingdom, but if you've just seen the film or know the film, then you'll know what Nockmar is, or Terrace Lean, or
Right.
Garadorn, yeah.
And luckily, I watched it one time, like the first 4 episodes I watched one time with Richard right beside me, who knew all the Willow stuff, so he would kind of be like, oh, this is this. And so, like, I enjoyed it, but when I watched it a second time, having seen Willow, I enjoyed it even much more, because also the Willow film, it's the same tone. Like the series, it just carries on this tone that's both adventure and action, and also this funny lightheartedness. So I really enjoyed it much more having watched the Willow films.
Galadorn and Galadorn. That's a little editing thing.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a couple of helpful names and places to know. It can get confusing in the series if you don't have these firmly placed in your head. Even a couple of times I had to think about which kingdom is which.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know these going in, it's gonna help it'll help the story go that much smoother. Because if you have to stop and go, well, now what is this and what is that, it can really interrupt the flow of the narrative, which is why we like to do these primers. Now, let's start with a brief recap. All right, now before we get into that, here's a prologue. We're going to start with the film, okay? So as a prologue to the prologue, which is the first episode of the series, let's recap the film, okay? So it begins with the birth of Elora Danan, who has been prophesied to bring the end of Queen Bavmorda of the Nockmar Kingdom. She is given to a midwife. Now Elora, she is given to a midwife who escapes and sends the baby downstream, where she is found by the kids of Willow Ufgood.
Yeah, it's such a cute scene. And Willow, he's a sorcerer in training, and a warrior team, they have to journey out and give the baby to a Daikini. And these are the tall people, whereas the Nelwyns are the little people like Willow. So, for instance, a Daikini would be Val Kilmer, and his
Mad
character,
Mardigan,
Mad
yep.
Mardigan. Yes. All right. So, and this first Daikini that they see is Mad Mardigan, who is in a cage, but he offers to take the baby in exchange for his freedom.
Now the baby is quickly stolen by tiny brownie warriors. And in a very Gulliver's Travel scene, Willow is captured by the brownies, but Fairy Queen Charlindria frees him and explains that the baby is Elora Danan, the foretold princess. The foretold princess of Terrace Lean. And she gives Willow a magic wand and sends him to find the sorceress Finrazel.
Mm-hmm. Now, once he's found Razel, they head to the kingdom of Terrace Lean, where they will leave Elora in the safety of the thriving kingdom with a large army. However, when they get there, it has been cursed by Queen Bavmorda.
Now Willow and his friends, which now include Bavmorda's daughter Sorsha, who has fallen in love with Mad Mardigan, as is most of the viewers
Yeah.
of the original Willow. And they storm the Nockmar castle and save Elora Danan.
Do they storm the Nockmar castle, or do they storm Terrace Lean?
Nockmar.
Nockmar. It
Yeah.
is Nockmar. Okay. So then, at the restored Terrace Lean, Willow leaves Elora with Mad Mardigan and Sorsha and returns home to his wife and kids.
In a very, very heartfelt scene.
Yeah.
Willow's kids are just so cute. Now there's a couple of returning characters, not many, but a couple, one of which is Willow, played again by Warwick Davis.
Say there's a couple of returning characters to the new Willow series.
Now there's a couple of returning characters to the series, one of which being Willow, played by Warwick Davis. And he is now a High Alduin of the Nelwyn people. Remember in the first film, that's what he was training up to be.
Right. Yeah, that's what that was his goal in life, was to be the High Alduin
Yeah.
of his people.
And the High Alduin in the original film was played by Billy Barty, who did not select Willow to be the next sorcerer in training.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because he didn't pass the finger test.
Now, after Sorsha hears Willow in her visions, she sends her daughter Kit to find him for their rescue team to find her son Eric.
Mm-hmm. All right, now another returning character is Sorsha, played by the same actress, Joanne Whaley. And she is now Queen of the Kingdom, Tirazleen. And since the film, she has married Mad Mardigan, and they now have twins, Kit and Eric. And they're, I would say 17-year-old, 18, something like that.
Give or take a month.
Right. And Kit, well, we'll go over them in a minute. But Sorsha and Willow, they parted on bad terms as she was trying to keep all magic out of the realm, whereas he thought magic was the only way to save Elora Danon.
Now, my sister has just joined us. Hey, Lisa. Lisa was another big Willow fan back in the day. In fact, when we saw The Phantom Menace, and you see Warwick Davis and during the pod racing scene, she yelled out, "Is that Willow?"
That's so cute.
Yeah, Willow played Weasel, the little weasel-looking pod race spectator. All right, now let's go over these new characters, which these are some fantastic additions to the Willowverse.
Yes, so we mentioned Kit, and she's played by Ruby Cruz, who is in The Mayor of Easttown, and she is Sorsha and Mad Mardigan's daughter. And even though she is the princess and next in line for the throne of Tirazleen, she is very spirited, she's very tomboyish, and she's at that age where she makes a lot of bad decisions when faced with difficult choices throughout the series, and she can be very temperamental as well. And at the beginning of this series, she has been arranged to marry the Prince of Galadorn, but she may have her eye on someone else.
Mm-hmm. Not gonna say who because we're not spoiling anything.
Okay.
Now, I gotta point out that I thought she was the only character that maybe took you out of the story because she was a little bit too updated with her vernacular and her humor.
I think if anything, her brother Eric might have been a little bit.
I felt everyone else fit right into the Willowverse.
Okay.
But I think they tried to update her just a little, made her a little too edgy and not what she was doing, but just the way she spoke.
Okay.
But still, she was a fun character to watch because she was very, very edgy.
Yes, if you think Brave, honestly, she's very much like, what's her name? Merida. Merida from Brave. All right, so Kit is, the princess, but she's more the tomboy, while her twin brother Eric is...
I'm not sure he did it to him.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is. Absolutely, yeah, I read that. So now Kit is more like the tomboy. She'd rather pick up a sword than anything, while Eric, her twin brother, is kind of the princess in this situation. He's very flamboyant.
Very pretty.
Very pretty. He's very much a confident prince and ladies man, and he does pick up the sword from time to time, but he'd rather be on a picnic with a lady out in the woods.
Or two. Yeah, he's the definite Tirazleen playboy.
Yes, and he is played by Dempsey Brick, and you can see him in Heartland. Okay, so we have some little bits from the press conference that we'll read to you because we didn't get the audio from the press conference. So John Kasdan, who's showrunner of the series, he remembers casting the role of Eric, and he said, "We knew we needed a contemporary version of a charming fairy tale prince. We met a lot of very proper British actors, very manicured men. And then Dempsey, this fun Canadian kid, showed up in one of the tapes and was so original and fresh, we all knew we could not pass him up." And I have to say, after watching it, I wish we see more of Eric in a lot of the episodes because he is fun to watch. He's just, and he's pretty, So.
Yeah, I love the fact that they named him Eric after Mad Mardigan's friend in Willow, played by Gavin O'Hurley, better known as Chuck from Happy Days.
Yes.
Now, Kit's best friend Jade is played by Erin Kellyman. I'm so happy Erin is in this because now she just crossed over from Star Wars to the MCU with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and now she's in the Willowverse.
And funny, she was in Solo: A Star Wars Story, which Ron Howard helmed. Ron Howard also directed the first Willow. So, and John Kasdan, it's all one loop, one circle.
Now Jade, she works in the stables at the castle in Tirazleen, and is a very good-natured girl, very trustworthy, and a very accomplished swordswoman.
Yes. Yeah, her dream is to become a knight of the Shining Legion, which is, I guess, as far as you can go in terms of being a knight and protector of the realm.
I guess that's the equivalent of the Emperor's Royal Guards, the Red Guards.
Oh,
High as you can go.
indeed.
Now, in discussing the appeal of Willow, Aaron Kellerman says, well, you read this in a woman's voice.
Oh, sure. I think the fact that it's a fantasy world is why it appeals to so many people. Like younger generations, John has also done this incredible thing where he's tackled some real issues that are happening today that I think may go over younger kids' heads. But adults are already going to get that. And I think that is why so many people relate to Willow, because of all the different ideas.
We're not going to tell you what those different ideas are.
Not yet. Until our review.
But
I think it's pretty obvious.
Because they got large applause, very, very cheerful applause at the world premiere last night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dove is played by Ellie Bamber. And you may have seen her in The Nutcracker and The Four Realms, The Nocturnal Animals, both of which I have not seen, but very interested in now watching. And Dove, well, she catches the eye of Eric, though she's just a kitchen maid in the Terrasleen Castle.
But she makes good buttered muffins.
Oh, she is very proud of her muffins. And that's not a euphemism. And Eric calls her Dove. Why? Because he doesn't know her name. He's got so many girlfriends of the night.
Yeah.
He doesn't know her name, so just calls her Dove. It's like when someone calls you, hey champ, hey buddy.
Yeah.
That means they get no idea what your name is.
Indeed.
Yeah, she's just one of many girls in his playboy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she portrays Dove very innocently, but you can tell there's something there brewing.
Mm-hmm.
She just doesn't want to be the Terrasleen muffin maker.
No.
No, she's got higher aspirations, and I can't say anymore.
Yeah. Executive producer Ron Howard, he said that Dove is a young woman who has not had a lot of advantages in her upbringing. She works in the kitchen just to get by, but there is a yearning, a sense that she hasn't found herself yet. And other people can kind of feel that about her as well. So, it's really interesting, and Eric himself is drawn to her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you can tell that she doesn't want to be just another girl in his life,
Yes.
and I don't think he wants her just to be another girl in his life.
I agree.
And he knows there's something special about her.
Yes.
Once again, gotta stop there.
All right, let's get to one of the most intriguing characters.
All right.
Thraxus Borman.
He's the very tall warrior.
Yes, played by Amar Chadha Patel. You might have seen him in Aladdin. And he's like the lovable rogue, much like he kind of steps in as the Mad Mardigan character here.
Mm-hmm.
And same way he's imprisoned in Tir Asleen when we first meet him, much like Mad Mardigan was in the prison.
He wasn't in prison, seriously.
Oh.
Now, when we meet Borman, he's imprisoned in Terrasleen, just like the way we saw Mad Mardigan when Willow first met him out on the Daikini crossroads. Mad Mardigan was imprisoned.
Right.
So these two characters, they have a very, let's say, criminal background. All right. Now, Sorsha promises to pardon his crimes if he joins Eric's rescue mission, because she can trust him, because he's got a debt to square away with Mad Mardigan.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows he's not going to just cut and run.
Right. Yeah, and Amar Chadha Patel himself said about this role that, well, here, I'll read it. Well, why don't you read it, Richard?
All right. The most attractive thing about the role is simply playing this little Disney rogue with the heart of gold. To my knowledge, we have never had a South Asian Indian person play this kind of role. For all the little brown kids who grew up with Han Solo and Jack Sparrow and all the other Disney rogues, I feel like I am doing this for them.
Yeah.
Then Ron Howard says, Borman is a rogue but very capable. Then Ron Howard says, Okay. Then Ron Howard says, Borman is a rogue but very capable. He's got a lot of swagger, but he's a little full of it. Amar, or is it Amar?
Amar.
Amar brings some of what Val Kilmer brought to Willow, not just the swagger, but the ability to sort out both classic and mythic, and yet also hip, loose, and unpredictable. I could say that. I could say that. And having him be connected to Mad Mardigan is very intriguing because with every episode, he drops little hints to his father's background with Kit. Kit's all like, I'm mad at my mom and dad. Oh, angst. Oh. So she's like, every once in a while, okay, tell me a little bit more about my dad.
And honestly, being of the generation that we are, like, I definitely relate more to him than these kids, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's seen more of the world. He's more like, yeah, you guys are, like, naive and stuff. So it's just fun. I love his personality in this series.
Well, I just love the fact that with every episode, we're getting a little more and more of what happened to Mad Mardigan. We'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
But from next, let's go on over to Tony Ravioli.
Revelori.
Now, you may have seen him in Spider-Man Homecoming. He plays Peter Parker's nemesis Flash, but the most greatest admirer of Spider-Man.
I love it so much. And he plays Prince Galadorn. Oh, no. And he plays Prince Graydon, who is a prince of Galadorn. And he's arranged to be married to Kit. And what's funny about this is where, again, Kit is very brash, and Graydon is very shy, very unsure of himself, and
well, he's more scholarly.
Yes, he's very scholarly.
Than a warrior.
Yes.
He feels more comfortable in a library than out on a battlefield.
Which ends up being a big help to the group.
Oh, very big help. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When they go on this mission. So.
Now, during the press conference, John Kasdan spoke with, I keep wanting to say Ravioli.
Revelori.
Revelation.
Revelori.
Revelori. About the boot camp every one of the actors had to endure.
Yeah.
So, Tony Revelori says, in the end, I did all this sword training, and then John didn't write a single scene with me and a sword.
And John Kasdan said he had like a little letter opener that he got to brandish at people for certain scenes, and then the girls would come in and save him from whoever was threatening him with that letter opener. Bless him. Oh, that's so funny.
All right, now let's answer the big question. Where is Mad Mardigan?
Okay, well, we can't answer that, but John Kasdan spoke to this. And he said, it was always sort of going to be right at the core of the story we were telling. The question of what had happened to Mad Mardigan was right at the heart. And we knew that it would be woven into this quest in a fundamental way to see where he was and what had become of him and what he'd given up. Particularly for Ruby's character Kit and for Dempsey's character Eric in order to do good. And that question sort of follows the whole season.
Now, I think this has more to do with the fact that Val Kilmer's not in the best of health, and if you've seen Maverick, the Top Gun sequel, you'll know why,
or even his
documentary.
Yeah, his documentary.
Yeah, he's had throat cancer and just not doing well.
Right.
I think that was really the reason why we don't see Mad Mardigan.
Yeah.
But the fact that now he has really the B storyline of what happened to him, because all of a sudden he left. He went to go take Alora Dannon to another safe kingdom.
No.
And never came.
He went to find this cutlass.
That's one of the things.
No.
He had a couple. Yeah, he went to go take Alora Dannon.
I don't think so.
Okay, then we'll cut that part out.
Okay. Well, we shouldn't say that anyway, because that comes out in episode 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So to pick this up.
Yeah. Let's see. So let's.
So throughout the series, we do hear about why Mad Mardigan left the kingdom, and you'll have to check it out to
find out,
because we're not going to tell you right here.
Yeah.
Because that would be a spoiler.
Now we're almost through all the people that we know that we will see, but there's one more person. We're not sure what he's going to be yet, but Christian Slater will make an appearance in this series. And he was announced at D23 Expo as being part of this series. We just don't know what he's going to be yet.
No, and we were going through the world premiere access way. We saw them setting up with all the actors on the stage, and Christian Slater was one of the names.
Yeah.
So far, we have not seen him. Who will he be?
All right, well, now, Skywalkers, we are going to get into some nitty-gritty details and review of the first 2 episodes of Willow series. So, spoilers ahead.
So if you're in the Sky Chat and don't want to hear any spoilers.
Or haven't watched it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now
Because there's a big one at the end of episode 1. Okay.
We'll see you later on.
Okay.
All right, now, the first episode is called The Gales, and we are introduced to our new characters in the Kingdom of Terrasleen, but when the Gales attack, creating conflict, our heroes must embark on a...
You want me to read this? 'Cause I wrote it.
But when these ghostly Dementor Gales attack, well, they kidnap Sorce's son, Eric, because they need the blood of Bavmorda. Bavmorda is Eric's grandmother and Sorce's mother, and they need that blood.
Right.
So they're going to take either Kit, the daughter, or Eric, and since Eric is useless in a battle, he was just like a standstill target. They got him.
Yeah.
And this was a very creepy scene.
Oh.
Oh, those things were just even
Gales?
watching it again and again.
Oh, I had to look
these
away.
Things, they were very, very creepy.
Yeah. That one with doesn't have eyes and has the weird teeth.
Walks like a spider.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was right out of a Universal
Halloween horror
maze.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it was gross. All right. Well, okay. So because of this, because Eric was taken, now instead of the next morning, Kit and Drayden were gonna marry. Well, that plan has changed.
Great.
So the next morning, Kit and Graydon were going to marry. Well, that plan has changed. Now they're embarking on a quest with a team and a motley crew to go and find Eric and expunge evil from the realm.
I'm sure Kit is like, yes. Now,
oh yeah.
Now we get a chance to put off this marriage.
Yeah, and once again, is it Graydon?
Graydon.
Okay, why can't I remember that name? Anyway, but Graydon, he does not want to go. He's like, y'all can go without me. She's like, yeah, I think we have all. Kit was like, I think we have all the members of our. Oh God, what's the word?
Motley crew, something
no,
like that.
No. It was a word they use in Lord of the Rings. A fellowship. Yeah, she says, oh, we got all the members of the fellowship.
But Sorcha says, well, you know what? On this team, we gotta have Kit, and then Graydon's dad's like, hey, Graydon, you gotta go and protect Kit. And Graydon's like, what am I gonna do? I can't protect anything.
But it actually turns out that he's good on the team because you need that reader, that
who can transcribe different texts, like when they reach when they reach
the gates. I don't know, like the gates to the other kingdom.
Right. There's text on. Hold on. When they reach Nockmar, I think it's Nockmar.
No, not yet. Oh.
So there's a scene where they come upon this battle-worn area, and there's text on the wall, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, I can read this.
Yeah.
And that sets the next plot point because he's very scholarly. He can read different languages.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, so overall, let's say what we liked overall about this episode. Richard.
All right, with that, let's talk about what. All right, so Sarah, what did you think of this first episode, The Gales?
So far, this has been my favorite episode. I really love this episode, especially the characters. The characters are what drew me in. It's this medieval fantasy feel, but you have these updated characters that you can relate with today. And I really like the fact that they kind of turn these tropes on their heads, these fairy tale tropes on the heads. Like Kit is your tomboy, and she's interested not in the prince, but in her handsome best friend, Jade. And we can say this here. We go into spoilers. So, like, there's a kiss between Kit and Jade. And this got a huge cheer in our theater. I thought that was cool. And I do like that they're, like, overtly showing that. Now, as we get more into the series, you don't see as much of that, so that kind of goes away, but that's what I really liked in the first episode. It's kind of breaking these boundaries.
And saying that, we've seen 4 episodes at this point. We have screeners for 7 episodes, but we've only gotten up to episode number 4.
Right. And I like the fact that Eric, the prince, which I want to see more of him, is your kind of your flowery boy. I just think it's so funny, and yet he still loves women, but like he's
very flamboyant.
He's very flamboyant.
Not like Liberace.
No, but I love that kind. I don't know why. I just really love that personality. I like it a lot. He's the airhead damsel in distress a little bit, right? He's the one that gets stolen, and the girls have to go save him. So I think that's cool.
Well, even as Kit says, everyone loves you until you're expected to do something
or follow through.
Yeah, because at that point he just leaves. So he's like the guy you want at all the parties.
Yeah.
But he's not the guy you're gonna rely on to help clean up.
That's perfect. Perfect. Oh my gosh. All right. So he wouldn't clean up Dove's muffins. Oh.
Well, I think that might be a spoiler right there.
Okay.
And once again, these are not euphemisms.
All right. So go through one of your points.
All right. Well, needless to say, after a 34-year wait, I think this series was well worth the time we've had to sit and wait for another Willow adventure on this small or big screen. Now, this is like The Force Awakens, but in an alternate universe. You have hero who have secluded himself, like Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy. Now we have Willow, who has now secluded himself in the Nelwyn's underground. You have that rogue who has to be a lone wolf. In Star Wars, you have Han Solo, who left Leia and had to do his own thing. And here we had Mad Mardigan, who leaves to do his own thing. We have the princess, who is now running the kingdom. Star Wars, we had Leia. Here we have Saoirse. Does that matter that there's so many similarities? Nope, not a bit.
No, I didn't even realize that. So
as soon as we saw Willow, who had he now has his Nelwyn village underground, and he's very much secluded because he can't trust the Daikinis. That's when I started picking up on all of the thematic references.
Okay.
And analogies.
I got more of the Sleeping Beauty vibe.
Okay.
Because they kept on talking about this lost princess that was whisked away when she was a baby and doesn't know who she is. To be raised by who knows what, not as a princess. I was like, dude, that's Sleeping Beauty right there, Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now this does a great job at linking the film with the series with just enough acknowledgments that it can't be accused of fan service. Now, once again, I love fan service. I love all the acknowledgments and Easter eggs, but I think this goes right up to the line with someone mentioning an incident that happened in the film, but they don't have to hit you over the head with it. And in the beginning, they do have flashbacks to the films to get you caught up.
Which is good.
Which is very, very good, yeah. And then as we go along, they won't rely so much on flashbacks as visions from the first film. And I just love the connections. And once again, if this whole thing were about fan service, sign me up. I'm right there. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I would recommend watching this with subtitles because some of the dialogue is lost in a very heavy mix. Plus, some of the actors have got a lot of deep accents.
Yes.
Like Borman. He's got a very thick, heavy accent.
Right, and it changes up. Like, we got some English accents with the Nelwyns, right? And then you have the American accents of our young cast.
Mm-hmm.
And just the mix of it sometimes can, like, throw you off. So, yeah, definitely good. And with all these names being thrown around, it's good to see them spelled out.
And Borman, he's got some of the funniest lines, so you don't want to miss them.
No.
So watch them with your subtitles on. And the humor, is on point.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, if not, this would be a very heavy series to watch, but they do sprinkle it with enough humor that it goes in roller coaster waves. When there's a high, it brings it down. Well, I should say, well, when there's a high, I'm not sure where I was going with that.
Well, the humor is, yeah. Let's see.
Just like with the MCU films, some of the heavier ones have got that funny Tony Stark humor, which kind of, it's like a steam valve.
Releasing the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have to say, it's beautiful to watch. I mean, we got to watch those first 2 episodes in the theater. Gorgeous. The locations, the sets, and a lot of the set design, some of it is taken right from the original film. So you get some of these same locations again, or recreated for this series, and it's great to see that. And I love the costumes.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
going back to the set,
okay.
It's not shot in the volume.
No.
We get to see the real landscapes.
Right, in Wales, I believe they said it was shot. It was in Wales. And the costumes are beautiful, especially everyone's drawn to Dove's costume. And so, spoiler alert, at the end of episode 1, because we have to mention this to go on, it's revealed that Dove, well, when Willow sees Dove...
When the rescue team goes to... It's kind of like the Ewok adventure. Along the way, they pick up different...
people.
Yeah,
Yes.
different members.
Right.
And they find Willow, and Willow looks at Dove, and his jaw just drops.
Yeah. And then he looks at the mark on her arm, or makes it appear again, and she is revealed to be Elora Danan.
I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't really. I didn't. I mean, people are saying they thought it might have been Jade, which is Aaron Kellerman's character, but I didn't see that coming.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so yeah, I love her costume, and it's beautiful. So, all right. So shall we move on to episode 2? Well, okay. So overall, I thought episode 1 was a great first episode of the series, and I was like all in.
Oh, here. Once again, after a 34-year wait, I was extremely satisfied.
Yes. So in episode 2, this is called The High Alduin, and this is where, having just met Willow, they then recruit him to go on their mission because Dove is Elora Danan, and who's the baby from the first film, and now Willow, as High Alduin, must start teaching her magic. But he's going to go on the journey with them because they still have to rescue Eric.
Mm-hmm. And this is another great episode because we get more hints about Mad Mardigan and where he is. Borman is once again at his best, but above all, gotta give this episode to Annabelle Davis. Now, she is Warwick Davis's daughter, and she plays his on-screen daughter, Mims.
Mm-hmm.
And Mims was really the hero of this whole series because she's the one who found Elora Danan as she was floating down the stream in the first film. Mm-hmm. And now, here she is as like an 18, 19-year-old and played by Annabelle Davis. And she does a phenomenal job in her first, like Warwick Davis, this is her first big role that's a non-creature role.
Right.
And she must have taken some acting classes from Warwick Davis, or just seen Willow, because she's got these little facial movements, very subtle, and I think the way she delivers lines, I would say, would rival a lot of big-time actresses now, because subtlety is very hard to do, and
Yeah.
I think she does it so believable.
Yeah.
And once again, this being her first role, it's like, yeah, you know what? If she slips up, if she's wooden, you know, not gonna, you can't critique that because this is her first role. But wow, she knocked it out of the park.
I especially love her scene with Willow when she's saying goodbye to him as he's about to embark on the quest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just so touching.
Because you can compare that to the scene where Willow was leaving in the film, to Willow's wife Kaya, and kind of packing him up and straightening him out, and just she's ready to break down, just like the way Mims is here. That's a great parallel scene.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for watching.
Kevin Tufts is in the house.
So for me, this episode, I enjoyed it, but I felt like it wandered a bit. But the humor of this episode really helps it. And there's just a few lines that, like, I was reminded how funny this is, like, when we watched it in the theater, that we, like, laughed out loud at several points. And there's one line, I guess you have to watch it, but Kit is, like, being all annoying and petulant, and Willow's like, oh, I forgot, you're hilarious, blah, 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 blah. And it was just, the way he said it was so funny. And you realize, I mean, Warwick Davis himself is a comedian. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. If you've seen him at Star Wars Weekends or
Yeah.
Star Wars Celebration, man is funny. And every role he's had outside of a costume, he's had to be larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
But he can really, really play subtle when need be.
Yeah.
And when I first saw him in Willow, like I said earlier, when I first saw him in Willow, I was thoroughly impressed with his skills.
Now, another thing I like about, well, one of the things I liked about this episode is we get further fleshing out of the characters and their role in the team as they move forward. So even Graydon, the fiance, at one point, he hasn't been any help in fighting, but when he sees that Alora is getting very frustrated because she's not able to do the magic, because it's been hiding so long, she hasn't been doing magic, it's kind of left her a little bit. He tries to cheer her up. He offers help, like, hey, I can read this journal for you, or whatever, this magic book, right? So it's very nice. I just was annoyed with just a couple plot holes in this episode. Like, Alora is the key to saving their world, right? And yet, when they're in the forest and they're camped, she, like, wanders away by herself, and no one thinks to keep an eye on her at all times. So, at the end of this episode, she gets taken because no one is there keeping an eye on her.
Well, let me help you out there. At this point, the others are not fully convinced this is Alora Dannon.
You think so?
I don't. Well, Kit says it right out. What shred of evidence do we have that this is Alora Dannon?
You're right.
Who's to say that Willow didn't put this rune mark on her arm when he went to go touch it, and it appeared? Who's to say he didn't make it appear?
That's right, because she's trying to do this one spell, making plants grow, and she can't. So nothing is happening.
So there's no proof.
Okay.
So Kit, I think she's worked it into everyone else's mind that it may or may not be her. And Borman's like, you know what? I really don't care. This is not my A mission here. This is something off to the side. I just have to go and save Eric so I can square away my favor to Mad Mardigan. Then I'm out.
Okay. All right. I like that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And even when she disappears that one time before this, they all wake up and she's not there.
Yeah.
Well, she's already headed out.
Oh yeah.
Because she's so in love with Eric, she doesn't want to sleep. At the first break of dawn, she wants to get out there and find and save her true love.
Very true.
What else can I help you with? What else annoyed you?
That's pretty much it. I think that's all I can say about these 2 episodes.
Okay.
So I don't want to say any more.
I think, like Andor, this will have its ups and downs, like
Yes.
the way act in a movie will be. Ups and downs, with the second act being the training montages and going into the battle. You get these highs and lows points. I think with Andor, you have some episodes which are like non-stop action, then they pull it back so you can get to know the characters.
Right.
Because if it's all action and there's no character development, what's the point?
Exactly.
So I think there's one episode, I believe it's 3, where we have more of a character development going on. But it's slow, but stay with it.
Oh yeah.
Stay with it.
And the humor, once again, really touches everywhere, and these characters are the shining light in the series. So I do appreciate that character development.
Good deal. All right, now, like we had said earlier, we were cordially invited to the Willow World Premiere held in Westwood, California, which is right here in the heart of Los Angeles, and we are extremely, extremely thankful to Disney and Lucasfilm for adding us to their list.
Yeah, so we want to tell you a little bit about it. So first of all, we arrive, and there is a green carpet that began when we walked in this big tent and all of a sudden we're in a forest.
Well, before we go with that,
Okay.
you kept telling me that this is the world premiere. I had it in my head. It's just a screening held in, like, Burbank AMC.
And meanwhile, I'm taking 2 hours to get ready.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, you look very lovely, sweetie, as you always do, but what's up? I just did not process the words world premiere.
And it's not until we parked, right?
Yeah, we're driving around Westwood looking for a parking spot. We passed by these tents, loud music, fans outside with Willow posters waiting to get them autographed. It's like, oh, when you said world premiere, you meant world premiere. So I was taken aback.
I had made you get dressed up too.
Yeah.
And okay, so the invite said sword and sorcery chic was how you're supposed to be dressed. And so I was like, what is that? Is that like Renaissance fair? So I busted out this 70s dress with all flowers on it. And I had you wear the
different pieces of different outfits.
Pieces of different outfits, namely your
Flynn Rider vest.
Thank you, the Flynn Rider vest.
That worked.
That made it.
Yes,
yeah,
it
was
did.
Great. So I was in green. You
Hold
were.
on.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Kevin Toth says here in the Sky Chat, Matt Mardigan is a 4-star admiral in the U.S. Navy now and goes by Iceman.
Nice.
All right, so you looked very, very lovely, sweetie.
Yeah, thank you. So did you. So we walk into this tent, very unassuming white tent, and all of a sudden we're in a forest.
And it looked and smelled like a Christmas tree, a Christmas tree lot.
It did. We walked in. It's like, ooh, it smells so good. Yeah, and I believe a lot of the cast was getting pictures right behind us.
Yeah.
As well. And there was a carpet where they were all being interviewed, and then of course we're not being interviewed, so we go on the other side of the carpet. There's like 2 lanes, right?
Mhm.
But there's lots of world premiere signs. So if you saw all the things we posted from Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, that is what we posted.
Yeah, go to our Instagram. You'll see a lot of reels.
Yeah. Yeah, and the theater was the Regency Theater
Mhm.
in Sunset, and it's on a corner. It has this big like silo.
Like a big a spire.
Yeah.
Like a big bell tower.
And on the spire they had Willow up there. It looked really neat.
Yeah. So you walk in and you have all these security guards saying, go, hurry, 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 hurry. And we fell for it for about 30 feet. And it's like, no, we want to take advantage of all of this.
Yes.
The stars are passing us on the other side of the tent. We want to go see who some of these people are.
Yeah.
Some of these were very young stars from Disney shows who I had no idea who they were.
But you saw one star.
I saw Kevin Pollak, who
Yeah.
played Rule, the brownie in Willow. He was being interviewed when we passed him. I didn't want to yell out, Rule, rules.
Right. So we wandered in, and
At the
once-
end of the
Yes.
walkway, it was an area with all the costumes.
Yeah.
If you had been to D23, it was the same costumes that were on display, but they had all these people in this very tightly packed little area. But we got a chance to catch up with a lot of podcasters and YouTuber friends,
Yeah.
and then they said, "All right, everyone inside, yes."
But before that, we're surrounded by costumes, and some of our friends are saying, "Oh, by the way, that's the costume designer, Sarah Young."
Yeah.
And she was right there in bright orange, so I was able to talk with her. We were able to talk with her, and I told her that Dove's costume was my favorite. And she was like, "Oh, a lot of people are drawn to that one." So,
So you'll see a lot of Dove cosplayers
yes!
at the next celebration or Comic-Con.
And we took a picture by that particular costume.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was very quick. We couldn't. I was meant to ask her what's her favorite costume, but never got a chance.
So
It wasn't a podcast interview.
No. It was very loud and
Yeah.
people telling us to get inside the theater and no one's paying attention to
Yes.
that. We want to hang out here and schmooze with friends we don't get a chance to see but once, maybe a year, if even that.
Yeah.
So then we were all told to rush inside the theater, get your seats. Like, well, no. If you say the thing is the showing's gonna start at 6:30, that means 6:45, 7:15.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because you have all these people outside in the lobby still hanging out and talking and schmoozing. But it gave us time to get to know our neighbors
Oh yeah.
in our little seating area.
Yeah, which is full of podcasters.
So it's like waiting in line for a Disney ride. If you make the wait enjoyable by talking to others, you don't mind the wait.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And the lights went down. Oh, before the lights went down.
Yes.
No. we got a little introduction by John Kasdan.
Yes.
And he said that he had seen the original Willow in that very theater as an 8-year-old. And this is what he had to say. So we'll see if we can
Okay,
put that
good.
in there.
Yeah.
And then Warwick Davis came out, but no one could see him.
No.
'Cause they didn't. You have a stage at the front of the theater.
Yeah.
Why not use it?
Yeah, he stood like right in front of the seats, not on the stage in front of the. It was very odd, but yeah, he also had some words to say, and we will play that here.
I hope, because I'm not sure if I recorded that part.
Oh, I think you did. You did.
Okay.
You did. Yeah.
All right, Skywalkers. Now that we've seen the very first 2 episodes of Willow, what do you think? Was it worth the 34-year wait? Let us know.
All right. Shall we wrap it up?
Let us know in the show post. Was this worth the 34-year wait? Let us know in the show post in our Facebook group.
All right, it is the beginning of the month by the time this podcast comes out. So, we want to give a huge thank you to our Skywalking force. You are the lifeblood of this show. You are how we can put out weekly episodes, 400 of them almost. So, we want to give a big thank you to Anthony Kakias,
Blessed Cheesemaker,
Bryn McKinnon,
Carl Fox,
Carol Cantwell,
Chickafant,
Christopher Marino,
Courtney Turkel,
Darren Irvine,
Dave Kerwin,
Don Glover,
Garrett Sessions,
Glenn Stein,
Jeff Long,
Jennifer Cole,
Jeremy and Heather Hunt,
John Liang,
John Zoncanaro,
Julie Caruana,
Kelly Turkel,
Laura Bryce,
Lisa Barry,
Meredith Duckworth,
Michael Corbett,
Michael Nip,
Michael Sanders,
Mike Ward,
Nancy Steinman,
Patricia Vittori,
Patrick Pine,
Patty Hammond,
Patty Nazarian,
Peter and Norma Heitman,
Reynold Gobey,
Scott Carmichael,
Scott Hume,
Terry Lee,
Wesley Meecombs,
and
Wynn Patterson. Thank you to one and to all. Yes?
Yeah, and I was going to say, so Skywalkers, you are getting an extra special bonus episode coming in the next week, which is our panel.
From LostCon, Ridiculous Days of Star Wars Rumors, and this included Kevin Toft from the Max Effects podcast, from Collectopolis, from Talking Apes, and from the Sky Chat right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. Kevin was on the panel, as was Max Cervantes from the Max Effects podcast, and Craig Miller from Lucasfilm's publicity department in the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back days. And he's the one that laid the groundwork for all these rumors.
Mm-hmm.
It was great to have him on this panel.
Super fun. So look for that in your Patreon feed and your special Skywalking Force podcast feed.
So thank you to one and to all. You have no idea. Maybe hopefully you do know at this point how much we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Kevin's asking us to beatbox and
Oh boy.
do some
You don't
sick
wanna hear
rhymes.
that.
No, you don't. Well, that wraps up episode 398 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank Disney and Lucasfilm for the invite to the Willow World premiere. We really appreciate it. And we want to thank all you Skywalkers for watching our live streams, listening to our shows, watching our YouTube videos, subscribing on Instagram. If you haven't subscribed on Instagram, please subscribe to us on Instagram.
At Skywalking Pod. Are you interested in our book?
Today,
Our books.
that's books plural.
Books! Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2. Those autographed copies can be found at skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. Richard, we have another couple of copies to autograph and send out today. We got some orders.
Woohoo.
Very exciting. So, you guys, if you want that, skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book.
And if you're like Kevin Toft, you saw us at LostCon and picked up your own autographed copy.
Indeed.
Now, we want to thank our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park or the Galactic Star Cruiser? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Now, would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? Well, the best way is to head to skywalkingforce.com. That's our Patreon, and in return, you guys get bonus content, such as our Zoom discussions on the latest Disney Plus shows. We record those so that you can listen to them back as podcast episodes. We also have some special bonus episodes, like the one about our panel from LostCon. And this bonus content begins at only $5 a month, so head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at the options, and thank you to those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force.
Now, we are part of the Sky Chat, get ready for this. We are part of the Skywalking Network,
Skynet.
where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
The Max Effects Podcast,
The Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis
and Today in Star Wars History.
You can find us on social media at Skywalking Pod for Twitter and Instagram. We also joined Hive, so we're over there. I can't figure out how to switch between two Hive accounts, so it's really hard for me to go from Skywalking Pod to Jedi Tink. So
Tell everyone what Hive is.
Oh, it's like a new social media that's like Twitter, in case Twitter explodes or implodes or whatever's going to happen to Twitter, because, you know.
Not if, but when.
Yeah. So we basically went over there to get our usernames, right? I mean, that's to preserve the usernames. We don't want to be Skywalking Pod 1 or whatever the heck, right? So we're there, but I haven't posted much because it's not as easy as Twitter or Instagram or all that. All right. You can also join our Facebook group. So search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland. Join the group, like the page. We love when you support that way. And you can also email us, share@skywalkingthrough-neverland.com. If you are excited and you want like maybe a voice memo played on our 400th episode coming up, then please record a voice memo and email that to share@skywalkingthrough-neverland.com.
Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show.
And always remember
To forget all you know or think you know. That's the tagline of Willow.
I figured.
And...
It's forgotten.
And...
Man. Okay.
Okay, now we gotta end this to go to work.
Yeah, alright. Bye, everybody. We gotta go be
Thanks,
elves.
everyone.
Okay.
Good. Thanks, Kevin and
Woohoo.
Stacy or my sister Lisa.
Yeah, Stacy, Lisa,
All right.
Dawn, everyone.
All right,
Teresa.
we out.
Okay, bye.
Gotta go to work.